We bless God for this moment that you have taken a moment, you've taken time off to be part of Faith to Faith with me, Cyrus Rod, from here at Dominion Faith Church in Kampala, Uganda. We're located in Kisasi, and we're glad that we can come to you from wherever you're watching or listening to us. We appreciate your feedback, and we bless God that your life is not remaining the same. We have been talking about the spirit of faith. This is something many people never consider, something many people never take time to really be able to see how important it is. But the spirit of faith, without it, you cannot walk by faith. Okay? It's the spirit of faith that causes you to walk by faith. Without the spirit of faith, you cannot walk by faith. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 13. Paul declared and said, for as it is written, we believe, therefore we spoke. We also having the same spirit of faith. In other words, Paul is saying this spirit has existed from time immemorial. And I'm here to tell you that it has existed before even time. This is the spirit that was before even creation came in. Now, if God called you into this, and he tells you to walk by faith, and he says the just shall live by faith, and he calls you into it, don't think it's a new doctrine. Don't think it's a new thing. Faith, this spirit of faith has existed before time, before creation. It's by the spirit of faith that God brought creation into existence. He never struggled with what existed. He simply spoke. And I want to continue with the spirit of faith, part 3. So we may learn, so we may be everything that God would have us be. The spirit of faith, part 3. The last time we read, and it said, and in the morning as they passed by, they saw the fig tree dried up from the roots. Dried up from the roots. And Peter, calling to remembrance, said unto him, Master, behold, the fig tree which you cursed is withered away. The tree had dried up from the roots. That was the following morning. Now, I want to show you something here. When we talk about having the spirit of faith and being able to release it, as you release, you're releasing the faith, okay, into the atmosphere, into the unseen world. And as it's being released, then everything begins to change. Why do I say these words go to the unseen world first? They go to the unseen world first because the seen world is a result of the world that is not seen. What you see comes out of that which is not seen. Okay, so whatever you see is being upheld by something not seen. So if you want to change, I'll give you a very good example. The son of Nebuchadnezzar, Belshazzar, was busy mocking God, having fun, having a party. He was king. Everything was moving on so cool. It sounded so well. And then all of a sudden, they saw a hand right on a wall. And the writing came in, and the hand said, and the writing came in, and they say, hey, we can't even interpret this. What is this? Everybody was in shock. Everybody was in shock. And they called Daniel to interpret. And Daniel just said, yeah, your days are over. Your kingdom has been taken away. You have been weighed on the weighing scales, and you've been found wanting. Who is this doing weighing on the weighing scales? Who's this finding me wanting? This is my kingdom. Which army? I'm telling you, that very day the boy died. His reign came to an end. Belshazzar's reign came to an end. Why? The unseen world rules what you see. Nothing happens here in the natural without the spirit being able to first establish it. So I want to show you something here. The gentleman said, Peter said, Jesus, look, what you cursed, the tree you cursed is withered from the roots. The roots is just a picture of that which you don't see. So when Jesus released faith, it never started with the leaves. When Jesus released faith, faith went down to the roots, to the unseen. When you release faith, it doesn't start with what you see. What you see may not change immediately. You may see, like you said, I am blessed and nothing is changing. You say, I am highly favored, and they just fire you the next day off your employment. When you were saying, I am favored, and you get fired, and then you say, this stuff doesn't work. No, the moment you said you are favored, something happened. In the unseen world, forces were stirred up to come against you. Are you going to hold on or you're going to quit? Forces were stirred up against you, but you just got to know that you had already touched the unseen world. You had gone to the roots. Now, if you quit and you stop releasing the faith and you stop speaking out in agreement with God and you quit, this is what is going to happen. If you do that and you quit, what is going to happen to what you've already started? Remember, in the spirit world, you've already started. You have already started. The roots are beginning to dry. The roots of that cancer are beginning to dry. They're withering. The roots of disease, the roots of diabetes, the roots of high blood pressure, the roots of poverty that has been holding on are beginning to wither. They're dying. But here you are running away, because when you look at the leaves appear to be flourishing. It's a lie. As long as I have released my faith, I have to stand until I see what I spoke. Hear me. I have to stand until I see what I spoke. Most of us are being troubled because when we speak, we quit. You're like, man, now this stuff ain't working. This stuff ain't working. This ain't stuff. This is life. This is life, I'm telling you. You say the word, even when you don't see anything, you say the word. It's not about this stuff ain't working. This stuff ain't working. No, say the word. It goes to the roots. Remember, when Jesus released, when he acted out in the spirit of faith by releasing the word, by speaking what he wanted to see, at that point, the disciples heard him and they equally mocked him. Oh, where is it written? They mocked him. You just have to meditate and see. They heard him. You see, when you're exercising faith and walking in the spirit of faith, there are always people that will hear you. I told you I had this wonderful buddy of mine, and his wife told him, Cyrus is just being too much. He's being radical. This faith thing, he's going too far. He's going too far. I don't want you to go into that stuff. Those are the kind of people that hear you. And if you ain't careful, they will stop and terminate your faith and cause you to run away and cause you to quit. But when he told me that, I said, it's cool. You don't have to see me again. Keep on with your wife. When we met, bumped into each other, he was like, man, I wish I had held on. You see that? I never quit because I believed that in the unseen world, the roots are already dead. This whole trunk is dying. These leaves are a lie. Oh, this is a lie. The truth is the unseen. Okay? Oh, this is a lie. Now let me begin just messing it up, terminating it from where you're not seeing anything. The unseen world. And this is how everything works. So they said, it has withered away. They were shocked. They were surprised that the tree had withered away. Jesus was not surprised. You see, if you walk by faith, if you're in the spirit of faith, there is no shock. There are no surprises. because this is what is supposed to happen. There are no surprises. When I spoke the word and I said, I have a Mercedes, the first Mercedes that came in, it was God. I was ministering and I was planning to travel. I had finished ministering, and a gentleman came up to me and said, Hey, I don't know, but God told me to buy you a car. I said, Okay, cool. And I trusted God, and I was busy, released the spirit of faith. I spoke and I started thinking about it. And we ordered and we got a car. It was a Mercedes C200. And he came in, and God paid the duties and everything for me. And it wasn't a surprise. I wasn't surprised because I had it already. I received the Mercedes before I saw the Mercedes. Now, many of you want to see the Mercedes in order to receive the Mercedes. No, you receive the Mercedes and you will see the Mercedes. You see, many of you are not operating in the spirit of faith. You're not speaking because the darkness is rolling over you. Many of you have grown up in churches that have nothing to do with faith. So you're full of unbelief. So darkness is so strong around you that you can hardly say anything. Every time you try to say, I have a Mercedes, something goes, What did you say? You? You have what? How much do you make? How much do you make? And then you go like, this stuff don't work. This stuff don't work. I better just leave it to God. God, whatever. When you find it in your heart, God ain't gonna find nothing in his heart. It's all up to you. It's all up to you. Okay? And this is how it happened. That one came in. Then before I knew, somebody came in. I had finished ministering, and God spoke to me and he said, Remember that ML? The time is now. I've given it to you. The manifestation, the time is now. But I had spoken. It took me years. I said, It's now. I said, Okay. And I went straight in my room and went onto the internet and started looking out for the ML and checked it out. While I was looking out, the pastor who had hosted me came and said, Hey, I've heard you did so good a job, but you never talked about any need. Don't you have a need? Usually when we see preachers, they come and they talk about their needs and hungry kids and all that stuff. But you never mentioned any need. Don't you have any need? And I said, Well, God never told me to tell you any need. So I was just preaching. That's my work. He knows better for me. And he said, Oh, he looked at the monitor and he said, You're looking for cars. You want a car? And I said, Yeah, I've trusted God. And he said, Whatever, choose it. And I said, It's over here. You want a Mercedes? I said, Yeah. And he said, Consider it done. You got it. It's done. And straight away, the Mercedes came in. Oh, man. You see, the problem is I never considered how much I make. No, that's looking at the darkness and trying to deal with the darkness so you may get a portion of light. No, you just simply speak, release the faith, and let the circumstances find their level. Don't talk about the circumstances and say, oh, this circumstance, the darkness. God never spent time dealing with the darkness, not even a second. He simply spoke what he wanted to see. And this is how God operates in the spirit of faith. And over here, he brings it out. Let me tell you, when that showed up and people saw it, they were like, oh man, this guy, He must be a thug or something. How can you own such a vehicle? No, it's not about my income because I do not survive off of my budget. No, I survive off according to the riches of his glory. Budgeting is good, but I don't survive off of budgets. I survive off of faith, for the just shall live by faith. Hey, I know you've been told, oh, if you're going to have this, make sure you learn how to save. And when you save and you save and you save, one day you will be able. No, no, I don't believe in that. That one day I want to see God. I want to speak what I want. What's the basis? The basis is not my circumstances. The basis is the faith in God. Listen, when Peter was shocked, oh, the tree you cursed. Oh, Jesus wasn't. Listen to Jesus' response. And Jesus answering said unto them, have faith in God. Have faith in God. Can you imagine? When all this is happening and Jesus speaks against the tree and all that stuff happens, and Peter goes like, man, the tree you cursed has withered away. Immediately, Jesus doesn't go, you got to first of all get into a dimension. You see, today we have a lot of stuff that is just more confusing. You need a dimension that can cause the tree to die. That dimension gets you like 400 days of fasting, and then you get like 800 days of dry, and then you get dry fast, and then you kind of beg God, and you call out on God, and you cry out to God. Oh, yeah, you enter the dimension. Jesus, why are we making life so hard for believers? Jesus never talked about this stuff. But for you believe, I'm not yet there. I'm not yet there. Jesus simply said, have faith in God. What? You mean I don't have to go through dimension 1 and realm 2 and dimension 46 and realm 80? Bogus. It is so simple. Have faith in God. That means the life Jesus was living was nothing but an example of what it means to have faith in God. People that have faith in God walk in the spirit of faith. Yeah, they walk in the spirit of faith. So they're always speaking in line with God's word. They're always in alignment with God. He said, have faith in God. Or what do you mean by have faith in God? What do you mean by have faith in God? Well, faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word. Good. You keep hearing and hearing and hearing by the word. So your heart is full and then you speak. As your heart receives, you speak. As you keep on speaking, you hear, you believe, you speak. You speak, you hear, you believe, you speak. It becomes a cycle. Before long, faith has taken over. So Jesus told them, have faith in God. What does it mean to have faith in God? Does it mean you kind of do some push-ups? Does it mean you speak in tongues? No, 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 no. This is how it described. Does it mean you get into a dimension and get into another realm? No, 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 no. Now, listen. Have faith in God is described this way by Jesus himself. Have faith in God is described by Jesus this way. For verily I say unto you, that's verse 23, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he says shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he says. He shall have whatsoever he says. I repeat, he shall have whatsoever he says. This takes you back that having faith in God means walking in the spirit of faith, because the spirit of faith is believing and speaking. Okay, the spirit of faith is believing and speaking. You believe and then you speak. That's the spirit of faith. Now, this is where the whole thing is. He told them, have faith in God. That means Believe and speak. Believe and speak. And having faith in God, this is the illustration. If you shall say, that's it. If you shall say unto this mountain. Now, some of you say, well, spiritual mountains, whatever. No. Anything that is an obstacle. Mountains have ears. You hear me? The tree hears. The mountains hear. Everything hears you because it was spoken into existence. Everything hears. So he says, be thou removed and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe. Now, this is where we have a problem. Many of us will say, and then doubt strikes. You say, I am highly favored everywhere I go. Then you're fired. And you're like, oh, I guess I ain't favored. I wasn't so sure. Because if favor is there, nobody can fire me. No, you didn't get it. The reason you spoke, you released faith into the unseen world, into your atmosphere. You're creating a new world. And them devils didn't like it. So they get stirred up to try to attack you. And Jesus is like, I love them stirred up because this is a moment to test the faith you claim to have. And now many of you really you are trying to play around, and that's when you quit. No, you got to say it, and you declare it, and you release it. Then don't doubt. Don't doubt. That means you having a second thought. Doubt. You having a second thought. You pulling back. You shouldn't pull back. God knew that every time you release faith, there will be an attack for you to have a second thought. There will be something telling you, is it real? Is it real? Will it happen? What if it doesn't happen? What if the mountain stays stronger? So what do? You start praying over the mountain. And you pray. And then they'll tell you, oh, there's a dimension of prayer you need. This dimension cannot move that mountain. You need another dimension that will move that mountain. No. That's all bogus. Let me tell you something. You only need faith to move the mountain, not dimensions. I know this is what we're being told in our churches today. And somebody feels like, one time I was talking to a pastor and he said, man, some people, there are things that will not change until you tap into a dimension. He felt he was really speaking some kind of mysteries, some kind of revelations. He said, man, we need a dimension. And I looked at him. I excused myself because he wouldn't listen to what I was going to tell him. I just excused myself. I mean, if faith can speak to the mountain and it moves and falls into the sea, faith, okay? You just realize it. Then what dimension do you want? The problem is you don't know how to stop the doubt. When you get any question, simply speak again. Speak again. For example, if you say, by his stripes I was healed, and then symptoms show up, don't say, I guess Jesus doesn't want to heal me. Okay, I understand. If you want to take me home, I'm ready. No. What you need to do is so simple. The moment you say, by his stripes I was healed, and the symptoms appear to rise, they have come to test your faith. Your faith has to be tried. Come on. What? Don't drop it. Hold tight. Hold tight. Let those who laugh. Hold tight. Your faith has to be tried. So as your faith is being tried, you're moving on. It's getting stronger. It's getting stronger. God has planned it, and you shall have whatsoever you say. The challenge is this: most of you forget this. You are where you are because of what you have been saying. Let's examine. Let's take a break and just breathe in. Yeah. You are where you are. It's not the devil. No, it's not the devil. You are where you are. You just didn't understand the spirit of faith. You are where you were because you have not understood that actually we walk by faith. It's the spirit of faith. When you speak, you have to see. Most of you simply speak what you see, not what you want to see. And that's the error. When you speak what you see instead of what you want to see, you will fail. God never spoke darkness because he was seeing it. He never said, "Oh, Jesus, y'all come here and see. We got a lot of darkness going on. Ooh, we got a lot of void. The earth is formless. Ooh, what do? We need an architect." No, no. He simply spoke what he wanted to see, and he saw what he had spoken. I have spoken what I want to see, and I have seen what I spoke. Come on. I have seen what I spoke. What am I bringing out to you? More than anything, when the Bible says death and life are in the power of the tongue, not in the power of the devil. Death is not in the power of the devil. Death is not in the power of your enemies. Death is not anywhere. No. Life is not in the power of the devil. You see, the devil couldn't even kill Jesus. Jesus had to literally give up. We need to speak the word. We need to speak the word. Faith, I believe, therefore I spoke. Have faith in God. Those who walk and understand the spirit of faith, people who walk in the spirit of faith are people who have understood what it means to have faith in God. Have faith in God is not something no. The way you speak out, as you're speaking, you're operating like God operates. Some people say have faith in God means have the God kind of faith. What is it? Operate like he operates. He speaks, he's releasing the words into the atmosphere, and things happen, and things happen, and things happen. I'm glad that I can be able to share this word, and I'm continuing and I'm not about to stop. Let me bring this to your knowledge right now. Those of you that are not born again and you've never given your life to Christ, just repeat after me. Just say, Father, I believe you. Right now, I've heard the word. I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. I confess that he is Lord. From today onwards, I am saved. Good. You are saved, and I challenge you to get a good Bible teaching church so you may grow. Because I'm tired of believers, and you too, you're tired of them people that claim to be saved and they never grow. They look like idiots, okay? So I challenge you to find a good church where you can grow, not just be entertained and motivated, but a church where you can grow in the Lord, and it will be glorious for your life. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Remember, we walk by faith and not by sight.